Have you ever been there? It's the middle of the night, everything's quiet, but your mind is just off to the races. It's running this marathon of worries, replaying conversations, stressing about tomorrow. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to dive into the science of what's happening, and more importantly, how you can start reclaiming your peace.
It's the question, isn't it? Why do the absolute worst thoughts seem to wait until your head hits the pillow? You can be totally fine all day, and then, boom, the floodgates just open. Well, I'm here to tell you it is not your imagination, and you are definitely not alone in this. There's a real biological reason for this nightly ambush.
So what is really going on here? This thing we call night anxiety, it isn't some strange, mysterious condition. It's basically the same anxiety you might feel during the day, but it's like someone grabbed the volume knob and cranked it all the way up to 11. So let's get into the mechanics of why that happens.
And the experience itself can be so intense, both physically and mentally, right? Your heart might start pounding out of your chest. It can feel hard to catch your breath. Some people even feel dizzy. And then mentally, you're stuck on that classic hamster wheel of rumination, just chewing on the same worries over and over and over, and it feels like your thoughts are totally out of your control.
So, here's the crucial piece of the puzzle. During the day, our brains are just busy. We're working, we're talking to people, we're scrolling, running errands, you name it. But at night, all of those distractions just melt away. And that silence, it basically gives our worries a giant megaphone, letting them step up and take center stage in our minds.
Now, I want to be really clear about something. What's happening in your brain is not some kind of personal failing. It is a biological process. You can almost think of it like a battle between different networks in your brain, all fighting for control of the driver's seat. So let's meet the key players in this fight.
Okay, first up, we've got the salience network. The best way to think of this is as your brain's bouncer, or maybe its importance detector. Its job is to scan everything, your internal thoughts, sounds from outside, and decide, hey, what's important right now? What deserves our focus? It's basically the switchboard operator of your mind.
Now, to really get what's going on, we need to know the two main modes your brain operates in. On one side, you have the central executive network. That's your get stuff done mode. It's switched on when you're focusing on a task. But on the other side, there's the default mode network, and that's your daydreaming mode. It's what takes over when your mind wanders to the past, the future, and to yourself.
And here it is. This is where it all clicks together. When you're dealing with night anxiety, your daydreaming default mode network is in total overdrive, just churning out worry after worry. And that salience network, the bouncer, it gets stuck. Instead of switching your attention to something else, it just keeps shining a big, bright spotlight on those worries, telling your brain, this is important, pay attention to this. And that, right there, is why those thoughts feel so sticky and impossible to shake at night.
So, if this is a battle happening inside the brain, how do we train our brain to actually fight back? Well, the answer isn't about trying to crush your thoughts or push them away. It's about retraining your attention. And this is where meditation comes in. Not as some mystical, vague idea, but as a practical, scientific training tool for your brain.
And this is where it gets really incredible. Hard scientific research shows us that a consistent meditation practice can actually change the physical structure and function of your brain. There's a name for this. It's called neuroplasticity. So you're not just calming down for a few minutes, you are literally rebuilding your brain to be more resilient.
All right, let's look a little closer at the actual science of calm. Because we're not just talking about feeling better here. We're talking about real, measurable physiological changes that scientists have actually documented.
Just take a look at this breakdown. Psychologically, study after study confirms that meditation is incredibly effective for reducing stress, managing anxiety, and, you guessed it, improving focus. But the benefits do not stop in your head. Physiologically, it's linked to better cardiovascular health, a stronger immune system, and even changes in how we manage and perceive pain.
And if you need one single, absolutely stunning statistic to convince you, here it is. Research on patients with coronary heart disease showed that a regular meditation practice can cut the risk of mortality, heart attack, and stroke by 50%. Just let that sink in. 50. That is the power of training your mind.
Okay. So the science is pretty compelling, right? But how do you actually start? The good news is it is so much simpler and more accessible than you probably think. You don't need any special equipment, you don't need any incense, you don't need any particular beliefs to get started.
Here are 3 really simple steps. First, try to pick a consistent time each day, maybe right when you wake up. It just helps build the habit. Second, find a stable, comfortable seated position where you can keep your back pretty straight. A chair is perfectly fine. And third, start small. Seriously, even just 10 or 20 minutes a day can make a massive difference.
And, there are a bunch of different ways to do it. Mindfulness meditation teaches you to just observe your thoughts without getting tangled up in them. Concentration meditation is about focusing on one thing, like your breath. And there's even loving kindness meditation, which helps you build up feelings of compassion. The real key is just to explore and find what works for you.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Does your mind control you, or do you control it? Night anxiety can really make you feel like your mind is in charge, just dragging you through all these worries against your will. But what the science shows us is that with practice, you can learn to direct your own attention. You can train that bouncer of your mind to quiet the noise and finally let you rest. The power to change the channel is absolutely in your hands.